Good morning. Hi. Come on in. Yeah, she's not up there. I know. You automatically look right there. She is down on her bed, relaxing. She got a little rambunctious this morning. Instead of just jumping down off the bed, she launched herself off the bed, and yep, now she's limping. She popped that knee. She didn't pop it out, but she kind of hurt it. So I'm going to let her rest. I'm going to put her brace on, give it some support. I'm telling you, instead of acting like she's getting older, she's acting like she's younger, which is okay. How are you doing? You acting like you're younger too? See, I take my cue off of her. I ain't doing any of that crazy jumping. I could pop something out. Anyway, welcome back. If you're new, welcome. This is Connie's Little Corner. I'm Konnee, and that big furry creature down there that everybody loves is Miss Nala. Nala and I just celebrated 6 months since her gotcha day. And yes, I rescued an older bully breed. She was 9, almost 10 years old. She turned 10 in February, this past February. So she was on the high side of 9 when I rescued her, all the way from California. And I do not regret a single moment of it. I am just so happy to have her. Yes, she runs my life. Yes, she runs the house. But she doesn't run what I show you. She might want to get up for what I'm going to show you today, because today is what the Wednesday, and I'm going to show you a new shop from Whatnot. And this one is a pet shop, but you know me, I got to explore everything. But then I'm going to show you some stuff from what's going on just around the corner. And I have a yummy recipe I'm going to share with you today. Okay? It's time for one pot cooking or one pan cooking. You can do everything into one dish. The less cleanup, the less mess I have, the happier I am. And of course, living in a tiny home, even though I do have technically a full-size kitchen, doesn't necessarily mean I want to clutter it up or fill it up. And yes, I'm in the purple today because guess who's making her premiere appearance? And she has a name. Are you ready for the name? Are you? I don't think you are. Y'all know my background because of my mama is French. So in taking the suggestions that you guys gave me, keeping in mind she's a pig and she's purple and she quacks. She doesn't grunt like a pig would grunt. She quacks. And typically pigs like this are piggy banks. So I pulled on your comments and I pulled on my French, and I would like to introduce you to Madame Cohen de Plume. In simpler terms, Madame Coin de Plume. Coin in French, coin in French means quack. And de plume, plum, the color plum. So welcome, Madame Cohen de Plum. So we're just going to call her Madame Plum. That's her new name. She's announcing a first-time shop. Yay! Sorry, Nala. Oh, Nala says she knows what's in this box. She's been waiting for what's in this box. So let's get into this box. This is from a shop on Whatnot called Blessed Bargains, or Blessed, depending on how you choose to pronounce it. Blessed Bargains. And Blessed Bargains is not a big shop. They do mostly pet stuff, but they have some pretty good deals. I'm going to give them, we're going to go over how I rate them based on a 5-star rating, because they're not new to Whatnot. They're new to us, to me and you. This is their introduction, but they're not new to Whatnot. So they're going to go fall under the 5-star rating. She hears the crinkle bags and she's like literally right there. But you looking at me. Look at those eyes. I can't. Oh my God. Okay. Not one, but two bag. Purina T-bones. And I believe they are both, yep, filet mignon flavor. Filet mignon. Now, these retail on average about $4 a bag. I got them each for $2 a bag. So half price. That's a pretty good deal, right? And Her Highness is going to love them. Well, I already know she loves them. She's got a bag that's almost empty. This is a little order, guys. So you're not going to have to sit through too much. Now, I am going to open up one of these and give them to her. These are Busy Begging by Purina Twisted Bones. Not one pack, but two packs. My girl loves things like this. Anything that's a twist. She doesn't like the extreme chewing, but these are kind of moderate for chewing, and she absolutely loves these. These retail, a two-pack on average, retails about $3.50, and I got each of them for $2. So 30% off, roughly, right? Not quite half off, but that's okay. $2 is still a bargain. Considering I didn't have to leave my house, I didn't have to hunt for them, I didn't have to waste gas or put mileage on my car, and maybe go out and not find them. And I haven't seen these at any of the other pet stores that I go to. So I'm going to take this as a good sign, and we're going to give Her Highness one of them. Normally she gets a treat like this maybe once or twice a week, but I want to show you what these look like. They're about as big around as a quarter, and they're twisted. So this part is a little tougher. This part is a little more chewy. And does it tell me what it's made out of? Made with real bacon, it says. It even has a picture of the bacon right there on the package. Made with real bacon. But it does have the seal on the back. Oh, Miss Navla. Want this? Oh, she's licking her lips. What do you think? Ah, okay. That'll keep her busy for a while. Literally, busy bones. So the two packs of the busy bones. Yep. There you go. What are you doing with it? Oh, she's going to take it into the bedroom where she can have some privacy. Okay. The next thing that I got her is a different type of busy bone. These are the mini busy bones. So these are a shorter chew. They're okay for dogs her size because they're not so short. They're about, see if I can turn one sideways. I'd say they're about 4 inches long. She's not a gulper. She doesn't swallow anything whole. Some dogs would just chow it down. I know if this was Levi, he'd try to eat this whole thing in one bite. She chews things down. So this is a long-lasting chew, meaty middle, and made with real pork. So this is a pork-flavored mini bone. This little pack, and it has only 4 in it, retails for $9.99. But I picked it up for $2. That's a good deal. That's a really good deal. And she likes them. And you notice these are all Purina. So these are not off brands. These are name brands, which tend to be a little bit more expensive when you go out to the store to get them. But this shop has the Purina at a very affordable price. And the last thing I got from Miss Kim, in case I didn't tell you, her name is Kim. She's located in Georgia. The last thing I got is a 6-pack of poo bags. Yes, she has her own backyard, but you all know I walk her as much as I can. Now, I'm not going to be walking her for a few days because of her new little limp. But when I walk her, anytime you walk a dog, it tends to loosen up those muscles in that hind area and deposits happen. So I wanted to make sure I didn't run out of these. Can never have too many of these, right? These are good. These are also, guys, hint, if you ever have a dog that vomits in the house and you try to pick it up with a paper towel, sometimes, not to be gross, but sometimes it can be a little slippery, a little slimy, hard to get up. Use one of these, put the paper towel over the back of it, put this over your hand like a glove as if you were using it as a regular poo bag, and use one of these to pick up the paper towel and the deposit underneath the paper towel. It will help you pick it up a lot easier, right? I do have the nails, but trust me, my nails don't poke through these things. So these are great, and these are Glad, right? This is 6 rolls, 90 bags in each. Or yeah, no, 90 bags total. Excuse me, 90 bags total. This retails for about $5.48, $5.50 at most shops and at Amazon. And I picked it up for $3. So just about half price. $3 is not bad. So it's 50 cents per pack for a roll. That's a pretty good deal for something that you're going to dispose of, right? So that's the little bitty order from Blessed Bargains. Okay, now let's take a look at how they measure up. Are you ready, madam? She's staring at me. She's like, yep, I'm ready. You know I'm going to have fun with her, just like I did with the pink pig that Gigi sent me for pulling up egg yolks. I don't know what it is. Pigs just make me laugh. I can tell you a little family thing about pigs real quick. I've been laughing about pigs since I was a young kid because my mom related to me a story about her niece, my cousin, when they were kids. Now, my mom's cousin was only about 8 years younger than my mother because she's the daughter of one of my mom's older sisters. As you know, Mom grew up on a farm. And yes, it was a potato farm, but they had chickens, they had a couple of cows, they had pigs. They were pretty much self-sufficient, okay? Well, as you know, kids love to play outside and goof around, and my cousin, Carm, was goofing around, climbing on the fences, and Mom tipped her. The fence was to the pigsty, and Carmela fell face first into the pig slop. Literally, the slop trough, right? Not even into the pen, into the slop trough. But to get out of it, she had to step in the pen. And needless to say, the pigs were bumping at her and getting all excited and whatnot. Up until the day Carmela passed, she never ate pork. Never ate bacon, never ate pork, never wanted to do with anything that had to do with pigs. That's all thanks to my mom, the prankster. I tell you, Mom is, and I tell her this all the time, and she agrees. Her name is Angel, but she is Angel in name only. She is a little Dickens. Okay, let's get on to the rating for Blessed Bargains. Now, we're going to use the 5-star, and we're going to start with the speed of shipping and the packing. Well, there was nothing fragile in here. It came in a box. Speed of shipping, 3 days. Not counting the day of the sale. From the day afterwards forward, 3 days. Came quick. Packaging, appropriate. She could have saved herself some money using like a Mylar bag or a vinyl type bag. Because these items are not fragile, they're not breakable. It might have been cheaper for her to send them in a bag, but that's okay. They arrived. They're fine. So she's going to get a full star for the speed of the shipping and the packaging. The price of the shipping and the price of the items. The price of the shipping was the $9.21, broken down over all those items. Not bad. I still came in sufficiently under retail to accommodate for the cost of the shipping. In other words, to make it worth it. So, price of the items, she's getting that half star. Price of the shipping, nothing unusual about it coming from Whatnot and being $9.21. So she's going to get a full star for that. Communication, she was very quick to communicate with the chat. She was very quick to answer questions that the chat had about what she had available, what sizes, what flavors, what options. Did she have other things? Was she expecting other things? What did she have maybe coming that they could look forward to? Every single question Kim was like right there, just like right on it. She was very quick. So her communication skills were excellent. And she was very pleasant. You didn't see her on camera. She doesn't show herself on camera. She just shows you the products. But her voice, the way she communicated was kind of soft and light and very fun, very pleasant, and very accommodating. Yeah, I think that's a good word for it. She was very accommodating. She wanted to make sure that she didn't miss a question and that she didn't miss addressing any concerns anybody might have had. She didn't have a moderator, but she really didn't need one. She had a really good handle on the show doing it on her own without having a moderator. So her communication is another full star. Her seller attitude, I think she has a great attitude. To be a Whatnot seller, number one, you have to be patient. You have to be prepared for hecklers or difficult people or people asking questions and just not understanding how you run your show or what you have to offer and why you don't offer certain things. She didn't really have too much of that come up, but when she did have something that could have tripped up somebody else, she was very calm about it. She had the right kind of attitude. Instead of just saying, because this is how I do things, she would say, what works for me and my shop is, and then she would explain why she does things a certain way. But she took it a step further to show that she has the right attitude and asked for feedback from the chat. So I think that was wonderful that she did that. She said, let me know. What would you like to see? What would you like me to introduce? Kind of like I do when I communicate with you guys. What would you like me to show you? She did the same thing. So I love that she has that attitude towards her purchasers. So she's going to get a full star for that. So far she said 4 stars. Variety and presentation. Her presentation was excellent. Absolutely excellent. She would clearly show you if there was a best by date or an expiration date. As you guys know, they're 2 different things, right? An expiration date is basically don't serve this to your dog after a certain date because it is spoiled or spoiling. The best by date means it's not going to expire. It's just simply going to have the flavor fade or the taste fade, but it is not going to spoil. So a best by date is something you always want to be aware of, as is an expiration date. She made the chat aware of both. So that was really good. She also in her presentation let everybody know, what was in it. She would read the bag because, a lot of dogs can't eat chicken and a lot of dogs can't have pork or they can't have odd things. So she would always give you whatever information she had. So the half star for presentation, she's definitely getting. The other half star for variety, she's not going to get. And this is the only flaw that I found in this entire show. And I watched several, as you know I do. I don't just go in for one. I watched several of her lives. And in each live, I found that the variety was lacking. There was not a lot there for either bigger dogs or smaller dogs. Everything was kind of moderate, as you saw in these things. These are all pretty for moderate, medium-sized dogs, medium-sized chewers. There wasn't a lot of variety as far as the size of the dog, the items available for certain sizes of dogs. There was not a lot of variety of the items available, whether it was an extreme chewer or a light chewer or, maybe a dog that needed soft things to chew on. So the variety was not there. Now, I don't know if that's going to change down the road or if she just likes to stay middle of the road with what she presents and not branch off to other offerings, so to speak. But I did find the variety was lacking. And after watching several shows, I think in total I watched 4, and it was the 5th when I finally shopped, and I didn't see a change. Now, I don't know if that's because maybe for all 4 shows, now they weren't in a row, they weren't random, they were over the course of a couple of months, but it seems like she's getting the same supplies, the same products in all the time. I didn't see enough of variety to say that, wow, she has a great variety. That's not something that I can actually say. I have to be honest. You know me, brutally honest sometimes. So Kim and Blessed Bargains, what is she going to get? She's getting 4.5 stars. Little one was the half. Okay, madam. I still think she's worth checking out. So go on over to Whatnot, check out Blessed Bargains, tell Miss Kim, hi, whatever, go on in, ask for what you're looking for, look in her shop. Mostly she does random pulls. She didn't have anything, the times that I was there, she didn't have anything in her shop or in her bin. She's not new to Whatnot, but go find out for yourselves. Look, see. She did have some great deals. When I can get things for half off, that is so worth it. It's absolutely worth it. Will I go back again? Yeah. I'll keep an eye on her shop. I'll look to see if she gets new things or different things or things that maybe I hadn't thought of getting for Nala. Because the longer Nala's here, I'm seeing different things come out in her. We actually, do you remember probably the first month, maybe November or December of last year, I got her that Franken toy, that Frankenstein rope tug-of-war toy. She and I have been playing tug-of-war, and let me tell you, she gets crazy. She loves it. She'll take it, shake it, run through the house, run back, want to tug some more. And she really puts her all into it. So it's a really good thing that I put carpeting down for her because she can get a grip on the carpet. But she goes bonkers. And if the back door is open, she'll run through the house, down the stairs, around the yard, run back up. She gets zoomies. She's really coming out of her shell. I think all that quiet was a ruse when I first got her. That's okay. I love to see her being active. Right now, I don't love seeing that she's got her boo-boo, but she'll get through it. All right. What's going on around the corner? I passed Mama all your post-birthday wishes. So I talked to her yesterday. Any new birthday wishes that had come up for her, I definitely send them out to her. Now, I didn't send her flowers for her birthday this year because she's 97. I don't want her to be surrounded by things that are dying. So I didn't want to send her flowers. I didn't want to send her anything that would, you know? So instead, I sent her a turkey meat based, in other words, different meats, but made with the turkey base, very healthy, Italian mix sub. One of her favorites. It had the oil and vinegar dressing on it, provolone cheese. It had 3 or 4 different mixes of the meat, lettuce, tomato, and Mom did exactly what I knew she would do. She took off the lettuce, tomato, and the onions, put them in a pile on her plate, and made a little salad out of them, and then cut her sandwich in half. And I want to show you this video. Mom is possessive over her food. All right. So when one of her roommates commented how good it looked, that he hadn't had Subway in ages, look at the dirty look she gives him. That's the evil eye if I ever saw it. She's like, don't be looking at mine. This is mine. So that was her birthday gift for me. And I think I'm going to do little things like that because it brought her so much joy to have something that, number one, she missed, she loved. And she's 97. Let her have a treat every once in a while. It's not going to hurt her. And it was all healthy, all right? It was loaded with the salad type fixings, and it was only a 6-inch sub. It was a little one. I don't know if she ate the whole thing or not, but I was told that she thoroughly enjoyed it and smiled the whole time that she was eating it. So that's the first fun thing. Now, I was drinking something the other day, and I told you that I was going to tell you what it was. This is what it is. Nestle's Nido dry whole milk. Now, it says this can will make about 27 servings. That's if you want to make it like whole milk. It is powdered. It's just simply dehydrated milk, whole milk. So it's got lots of calcium, lots of vitamins, lots of nutrients in it. All right, it's very healthy. It is very low in sodium and the things that you should not have. What I do with this is I use a gallon jug and about 6 or 7 heaping tablespoons to a gallon jug, and this makes like a skim milk. You want it more like 1% or 2%, you add more. You can make it by the cupful, but you're going to go through it a lot faster than if you make it by the gallon. But guys, I couldn't tell the difference between this and the gallon of skim milk that I had that was already bought as skim milk. So this is the best on the market as far as flavor goes, nutrition value, and everything else goes. And it was about $6.75 for this. So far, I've gotten 3 full gallons out of this, and I probably have like another quart left in the bottom of it. So 3 gallons for $6.75. You can't buy 3 gallons for $6.75. You're lucky you can buy 2 gallons for $6.75, depending on where you live. Google this if you want to. The Nido Fortificata, okay, dry whole milk. Or just Google what are the best dry milk on the market. Nido comes up every single time. I thought I would give it a try. I did. No, they're not sponsoring this video, but I am thrilled at this. If I run out of milk, I have this on my shelf. Shelf stable, right? I can make milk in a heartbeat. And yes, you can bake with this. Once you mix it into milk form, I used it to make chocolate pudding. Right? Don't be afraid to try something new. So I had to show that to you. And I have to get more. Because when I did my grocery order last week, the stores had no milk. No milk deliveries had come into my area. I don't know why. So now I have an alternative, and I am thrilled with that. Let's take a quick look at the plants. Not all of them, but look, guys, the peas are now getting flowers. My telephone pole peas, Chamberlain peas, I believe they're called, are now getting flowers. And inside those flowers are the first sprouts of pea pods that will start growing. They're 4 feet high already. 4 feet high and still growing like crazy. But with those peas, just so you know, guys, FYI, if you do want to plant telephone pole peas, when you harvest them, all right, if you harvest them right at the time that they kind of lose their glossiness and they start to get a little more matte in color, when you harvest them, the quicker you harvest, they will keep producing and they will produce for up to 1 to 2 more months. So I could have production well into the summer peas. And that's what I'm hoping for. That would be a great thing. Now, the green peppers, both plants are getting their flower buds on. You can see on the tops of both of them, they have those little buds starting to come out. So even though they didn't look all that great after we went through that weird frost, they survived and they're starting to fruit. So I feel very positive about that. Okay, that's it for the garden. I'm not showing you anything else. What am I going to show you now? Konnee's little kitchen is open. I had mentioned I was going to make a brisket. Well, I was not spending $28 for a 2-pound brisket. That's ridiculous. Not going to happen. So instead, I spent about $6 and I got a 3-pound pork loin. So here is my recipe, kind of mixed with my Aunt Angie's recipe for her pork loin, because I love what she added to it. And I want you to check this out, and then we'll talk about it. who doesn't have pork chops and applesauce? That's something that goes way back, right? If you don't want to use applesauce, you can peel and slice up apples. And I would recommend, simply because of the steaming, that you leave the apple slices whole, that you don't chop them down. Or if you do, you only chop them in half just once, not in small pieces, because they'll disintegrate. You can disintegrate them if you want. I don't salt my food ever. I'm very salt sensitive. Pepper to taste is something that I usually do on my plate. I don't put it in the food, but the combination of the applesauce and the cinnamon is fantastic. Now, one of the things that I did not show you is in the beginning, when I first only had the pork loin and then I added the 3 cups of water, I also added 1 packet, or the equivalent of 1 beef bouillon cube, right? Because when you take a beef bouillon cube and you blend it in with the juices from a pork roast, it takes on a softer flavor. And it helps give that certain color when you extract the juice, right, to make your roux, to make your gravy. It gives it that certain medium shade. In other words, we all know beef gravy is usually dark brown, right? Chicken gravy is usually very light, but gravy for pork, kind of in the middle. And by adding that beef bouillon cube, or that 1 packet, you're not going to change the flavor or take away from the pork. You are going to change the flavor of that beef bouillon so that it blends with the pork and gives you a great gravy. You have to put the sage in there so that it picks up. The sage with the cinnamon is complementary, and together they go absolutely amazing. Now, you do have a choice. In this particular case, I decided that I didn't want to take everything out and put them in a bowl and then make gravy, in the pan and have all that extra. I just made the gravy right in the pan, as you saw, moved the veggies out of the way, made the gravy in the pan, let the gravy get over everything. And then when I cut the meat, and no, guys, I didn't cut the bottom of the pan. I had the pork roast lifted enough so I can cut without touching my pan. I know it looked like I was cutting into the pan, but I would never do that. So after I cut it, right, then I put it on my plate and I just used a spoon and I pulled out some of the gravy to put over the top of the pork. Again, if you find out the gravy is a little too thick, the way that I gave you the recipe to make the roux, you just add little bits of water, not a lot, little bits, a few tablespoons at a time until you get the gravy to the consistency that you want. Some people like it a little thicker. Some people like it more saucy. And some people just like it like a stew where it kind of stays loose and watery, but not all water. So that's up to you. You can adjust that thickness either by adding water or adding little sprinkles of flour at a time. Less is more, because remember, once you get that into the pan, it's going to thicken up from the heat. Just like when you make a cake, it goes from being a batter to being thicker because you're heating it. Same thing happens when you make gravy. Okay. All right. So that's what we're covering for today. I want to remind everybody, look for this thumbnail right there with me holding that leaf. That is where you put your entry for the kitchen/Mother's Day. And remember that code right underneath it, that hashtag, that's your entry. Nothing else qualifies as an entry. You must type that hashtag you see right there. If I don't find an entry that says hashtag mama, you won't be entered. So don't forget. I mean, it's great for you to say that, hey, you're excited and you're there to enter and count me in, but it doesn't count. Because when I do the search to pull up the winner, I am only searching for hashtag mama. So make sure you get your entries in. You have until April 28th. I am pulling and announcing the winner on April 29th. Just as a reminder, You must be 18 years of age. You must be my subscriber. You cannot have won any prior giveaway boxes. I do have a list of all my giveaway winners, and I know some people get excited and y'all just enter anyway. If you have an entry and you've already won, that entry's not going to be included. I'm not going to count it because you've already won. It's time to give somebody else a chance to win a box. And this is a great kitchen box. There's a lot of items in there. I just happen to throw some Mother's Day things in there because it's close to Mother's Day. Okay? So, if you're continental United States, the bill is on me. If you're offshore and you happen to win this huge box, we are going to split the cost of shipping. So keep that in mind when you do your entries based on where you live. Just know if you're Hawaii, Guam, Puerto Rico, Virgin Islands, Australia, United Kingdom, I have viewers all over the world. If you're anything other than in continental United States, be prepared that I will send you an invoice for 50% of the shipping costs. And I will send you an image so that you can see what the shipping costs are to your address so that you know I'm being very honest about the shipping costs, okay? The second thing is on May 10th is when I am going to start the summer stakeout subscriber giveaway. And one person will be winning that $80 set of German black blade steak knives. That's going to be perfect timing for summer. So keep an eye out for that on May 10th. Other than that, questions, queries, posers, concerns, feedback, put it down below or send me an email from up above. And don't forget, thumbs up. Hype this video. You know what I'm going to say. Get it out into the universe. Let's see whose lap it falls. And this time, can it find a new person? Can you hype it so that it finds a new person? Or can you share it so that it finds a new subscriber to get in on everything that's going on just around the corner? Hopefully you can. Okay? In the meantime, stay hydrated. Above all else, please stay sweet. And she and I will catch you Sunday with more Temu. No, I didn't freeze. I just stopped. Thanks for stopping by, guys. Love you and see you soon. Bye.